Thanks.
Hey, everybody. Taking this. Yeah. We'll wait for Anna for a few minutes. Looks like Chris is coming in off the road, taking off his shoes.
Mr. Rogers' theme song is playing somewhere.
Where's your sweater?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got my vest, but yeah. Yeah, I went into work this morning wearing winter gloves and, bundled up and came home and, had to carry all this garbage home.
Yeah, it was cold this morning.
Sorry for the confusion on the day. I was thinking that today was the 26th. Then, so it was listed on the calendar twice. And today's had an old agenda. I don't know where that came from, but it was a crazy month with that cleanup event, as we pulled it together in 1 month. So obviously we weren't thinking about anything other than that. So I dropped a few balls.
Well, I thought I missed everything because, I don't know, I just thought I did. Because work is so nuts.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, everything's harder in your profession.
Yeah, and I thought I was going to be done. Ha 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 ha.
I thought so too. You keep saying that.
Yeah, well, one of the nurses quit.
Oh,
So I now have more people, and it's not looking like they're going to get a nurse anytime soon.
do you think people are staying away from the profession or leaving the profession because of COVID?
I think that the agency that I work for does not pay very much money, so they're not going to attract anybody.
Well, it's 6 o'clock, so I'm gonna open the meeting of the Open Space and Recreation Committee. And all in attendance, Chris Bacone.
Here,
Marshall Dennis,
Here.
Cease Snow,
Yeah.
Gary Howland,
I'm here.
and Lorraine D'Souza, all present. I think we'll make this really as quick as we can because I'm not prepared. And I know we're all kind of busy, so, but I wanted to make sure we met anyway, so we don't get out of the habit of meeting. Does everyone have the agenda?
Yep.
I need to get to my full screen. So Marshall sent along the minutes from 3/23. Has everyone had a chance to review them?
Yep.
I have. I think they look fine.
Yep, me too.
Of course.
If no one has anything else to change, I make a motion to approve the minutes of March 23rd, 2021.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Well, Gary Howland, I. Sorry.
You want to do that?
Well, legally, I think that's what we're supposed to do.
Okay. Lorraine D'Souza, aye.
See Snow Eye?
Chris Paconi, aye.
Marshall Dennis, aye.
Okay. So moved. Good. I will record those. Now, I have a question of Marshall. When I'm in my town government and I'm uploading the minutes, it says that you're supposed to sign them and submit them to the clerk. Do you do that for Concom? Yeah. I never heard of that.
Submit them to the town clerk?
Yeah.
And where does this say this?
If you're in my town government and
Yeah.
across the top of the page, it says all the minutes that are outstanding.
Right.
In
Oh.
that paragraph there somewhere, it mentions that they need to be signed and submitted to a person. I think it's-
I'll have to check that out, but no, and I don't think that we as a Conservation Commission do that.
Have you ever done that, Marshall?
Prior,
No, I don't remember it. Yeah.
Yeah, per the bylaws, being on the bylaw review committee, all committees, boards, commissions, blah, 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 so empowered by the select board are required to submit their minutes within 10 days of the meeting. So, I'm sure everybody complies with that.
Yeah.
what-
Not even close.
there are some that are listed on the top of my page as being due for meetings that I don't think were ever scheduled. Like one is a week before we normally meet. And some of the dates don't sync up with our minutes. Our actual meeting times. So, I mean, I do the best I can, but,
And this is just for the Open Space Committee?
well, you're right, right.
Hmm.
I mean, I look
Right.
back at the months to see what days,
Yeah,
and I'll have minutes that are a week different from
Hmm.
what they say that the meeting was scheduled for.
I
Okay,
don't know.
I meant to ask you that for a while.
No, I mean, I just do the best I can to, whatever I'm responsible for to
Apply.
to get them in. So they're not, really, really late, but
You're right. All right, very good. No, I know, I must confess, I haven't done a thing on the plan. In reviewing the open space and recreation plan. I've been too busy with the other thing.
Which went well, by the way.
Thank you.
And I just lost my train of thought. Jeez, you did. Oh, I know what it was. I did watch one of your bylaw review meetings. And you're doing it differently. And I wanted to ask you if you think that it appeared to me that you all read the same section and commented on the same section and progressed sequentially. Does that work better, do you think?
well, we started with the general bylaws. Because zoning bylaws are kind of a different animal. Yeah, we started with 1 through whatever, and we're going through them sequentially. And, I'm trying to keep track of the committee's collective comments. And I'm preparing kind of like a master red line copy of the minutes, which contains everybody's comments, so that when we're all done, that we could just hand this over to whomever and say, we've been through it. These are our comments. Not to say it's the be all and end all, but these are things that we think need fixed.
Mhm. And do you think that's where it appeared to me that it's working better than what we're trying to do? Do you agree?
Puts a heavy load on one person though.
Well, I got comments from Bill Johnson saying that, this is a good idea, thanks for, it just seems like if I can keep track of everybody's comments as we go, it's a lot better than when we're all done reviewing every single general bylaw, trying to compare everybody's, scribbled notes at the end.
Right.
So, when we have a meeting, I hear comments, I make note of those comments, and then I immediately go to the bylaws, general bylaws that I have in Word, and I enter the comments in track changes mode so that you know, everybody knows. I mean, sometimes it's just a comment like, we need to define this. Sometimes there's an actual text change, which, you know, is always subject to review, but, you know, that's the way I've been handling it.
Right. Well, what do the others of you think of that approach versus each of us taking a section? I mean, last time Chris gave a very good, made some very good comments on his section.
Are we
Yes.
talking? I'm sorry, Lorraine, I'm sorry. I just got off another call. So you guys are talking about our OSRC plan?
Yep.
The method
Okay.
that we're using to review it.
Yep. And you're saying to put it on like a shared site, like Google Docs, or what are you saying?
No,
What's the
what I was,
question?
no, what I
Sorry,
said.
I'm so
That's
sorry.
okay. No, it's fine. It's okay. What I noticed when watching Marshall's bylaw review committee process, they just started from the beginning, all of them together, read certain sections like 1 to 3, or they're going, you know, in
Yeah.
groups.
Yeah,
Everyone reads it and they discuss it together. And they move along sequentially together versus
I see.
what I had suggested is certain people take certain sections and we try to merge it all together.
mm,
And I think that what the bylaw review committee is doing makes more sense. And the continuity would be better than what we're doing. And I just want
Yeah.
to get that input from all of you and see if we want to do that instead.
Well, certainly I like the idea of working meetings. It's hard to carve out extra time to do extra homework outside of the meeting time. Certainly, if I knew the meetings would be for actually doing the work of the committee, that would help me a lot.
I'm not so sure they're doing that. It seemed to me that they were prepared to
Yeah.
discuss. They weren't reading along. They just had all looked at it and then were comparing. It's sort of a hybrid, I think, of what you're saying is.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, but because otherwise it falls to some other, one person to synthesize everybody's
Right.
stuff outside of the meeting.
It's disjointed, I think, the way we're doing.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
Chris.
But we probably still want to have the people responsible for that section. Like, I agree that it makes sense to
Yeah.
kind of devote a meeting to that section, but if we don't have one person in sort of responsible for it, it ends up the tragedy of the commons. Everybody sits back and says, okay, what should we do with section 4? And we all look at each other. So
Yeah.
we might want to leave the people sort of in charge for gathering the comments and making the revisions of those sections, but work on one section at a time at working meetings.
Yeah, that sounds better. What I was worried about is having the situation that Marshall's in now, where he has to do all the edits.
Yeah, we can't have one person. So on that note, Anna brought up Google Docs. I don't know if you four are
It's
comfortable.
not
using
gonna work
this.
for everybody.
I
What's
tried,
that?
I did set it up already and
Mm-hmm.
I haven't,
Yeah,
I think Anna's accessed it.
Yeah.
So did you say it can't work? Google Docs would not work for everybody?
I
Right.
can't get there. I can't figure it out.
Because it is hugely convenient when you've got a group of people working on something, because as you're all looking at the same thing right at the same time, kind of in the cloud. And then if somebody makes a change, you can see the change happening in real time, like it's right there in front of you, and you can comment on the sides. So that way you're not like leaving each person trying to, as Marshall said, there's scribbles in the margins and you got notes on different things. It's all in one place, but you have to be able to open a Google Doc. So
Acrobat has a similar function where you can work on a document. It's interactive.
That's for the new software.
Yeah, if you have Acrobat DC,
Yeah, and I don't.
Acrobat Pro DC, but not everyone has that.
No.
So
I've also heard that we're not supposed to be doing this alone. We're supposed to be working with somebody.
Well, that's the other part of the conversation and item on the agenda is I get mixed emotion, not emotions, yeah, emotions too. I get mixed input as to who should be helping us or who we should be working with. Sometimes Rosemary, for a while, Rosemary was pressuring us to have the entire plan reviewed by MRPC. And then because they got a grant for it and they didn't know what to do with the grant. And then there was some back and forth between planning board, were they going to use it or not, and I think then they decided to use the money for their own purpose. And I made a case and I talked to Marshall about it. I really don't want MRPC doing it. I really think that we are the actual boots on the ground here. We know our town. And we may not have the software to make the maps, but I can't imagine they would be worse than what we would get from MRPC. So having said that, occasionally, I think it's a settled matter, and then I'll hear that, oh no, MRPC can do that for you. They can gather the demographics. So maybe there is some things they can do, but it's not a lot. I mean, history's history. That part's already done, but tracking the changes and making the new maps that we're talking about, forestry maps or historic maps or that sort of thing. I personally don't trust MRPC. I just don't know how to say that in a mixed public meeting.
You
where-
just did.
Well, only if they see it on tape and no one's watching our meetings, but
Oh, you
I-
can.
I don't know. I'll say it to you, and then if it's out there, it's out there. I'm not trying to belittle anyone. I just
No,
think that we can do a better job.
No, I think that since we have done the last one and we have a prototype all ready to go, and it's just a matter of updating it. I think we just have to go through it and say, well, that was then, this is now, has this number changed? Have these data changed? Have the demographics changed? And then whatever the source was for all that, we go back to that and then update it. I really don't think it's only going to get more complicated if we try to, integrate another entity into the updating analytical process. So, again, nothing against MRPC. It's just that in this particular case, I think
I think we got it.
we've got the handle on it, and we're probably in the best to move ahead with limited debate and get it done quicker.
The other thing that I never really thought about was the relationship between this plan and the master plan. I've never associated it as being part and parcel of that. But as Rosemary says, it's considered a chapter in the master plan. And
yeah, something to that effect, because yeah, I encountered that working a bit with the planning board on some other things. And I mean, to me, that's not our issue. We don't have involvement in the master plan. Whoever does can, I guess, feel free to, use what we generate however they want to use it. But I mean, we've got a mission to comply with state laws and per the open space and recreation plan, and that's what we should do. If somebody wants to use it for whatever reason, so be it.
I think her justification was that if we, and I don't think this is what we're doing, if we decide that there's a certain area of town that should be preserved or
We do.
a land use, we think that, a land use suggestion or application,
Hmm.
that it could come into conflict with new zoning laws. But we're not mandating anything. We're just simply making suggestions.
Yeah,
But
no,
I think it's that concern that we're trying to dictate the terms of land.
no,
We're
No.
not.
No.
When it works out, good. If it doesn't, what?
yeah, I mean, I don't see that as being an issue or a conflict. I mean, the open space and recreation plan can say what it will, but, at the end of the day, if the powers that be want to, do something different, hey,
That's what I feel.
I mean, the worst I've seen in past plans is just basically pointing out high priority areas.
Yeah.
And mostly having to do with connections.
And it's just a wish list on our part.
Yeah.
When we do that. We hope it works
Yeah.
out.
yeah, I mean, just because the plan says certain things doesn't mean that, it's the be all and guidance document.
I wish we had the powers.
It's not regulatory.
I mean, no, it isn't. And one would think that to at least some extent, what is said in the open space plan is, transferable to the master plan, but doesn't mean that everything has to be.
All right, so we'll proceed pretty much the way we have been, I guess. And I'm still not sure how you want to change the review process.
I'm agreeable to going through it section by section, each of us, just reading the sections. Say we take 1 through 3 and we read those for the next meeting. And whoever is in charge of updating those
Takes that, okay.
takes notes and transfers that to the document as a comment. Okay, that way we go through it at the end and we bless it, and that makes sense. What I was worried about is just one person, like Marshall's situation. I don't think any of us have the bandwidth for that.
Okay, so I think I understand that, we look at sections 1 through 3 or whatever, and, for all I know, there's not a lot that needs to be changed. I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
But we all review it and we get together and say, well, maybe, these couple of items need to be updated, whatever the comments are. And then whomever can just make the edits and boom, we're done with those.
Yeah.
And we'll move on to the next sections, whether, I end up with, environmental this or that. We make the comments and fine, then I'll update it. And then we're done.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Um,
When we say go ahead and make the changes though, is there one sort of I feel like there's lots of different documents floating around in different folders, and
The
is there
Word
kind of
doc is,
one place where all these changes are.
well, the Word doc holds all the text.
So is that like the one we're all changing? I'm just worried somebody's gonna make a change in this document, and somebody changes that one, and then I want to make sure there's one centralized document that's
Good point.
really the
Well,
one.
Well, there needs to be, as I think we were talking about, a designee for
Hmm.
each particular section.
Yeah.
And, whether it's you, me, Gary, Lorraine, whomever. And in other words, don't touch my section.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Unless I know it. And then,
We just pass the file back and forth. When we're done with it, we pass it on to the next,
And
to the group.
if you want to send them all to me, and then I'll make sure that they all get into one document.
I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
We make our edits and, what we think is the finale, and then we have Lorraine consolidate it all, and then we give it, again, a committee-wide review before we think it's ready to go.
Okay, well, then let's just all start with reading or heavy scan. We don't have to, you don't have to study like it's the SATs or anything. It's just.
Right.
gonna
No,
give them
I mean,
good-
again, the geology hasn't changed. The
Right.
soils haven't changed.
What are the first three sections?
There's a lot of this that
Well,
just hasn't.
history, community setting, an introduction.
I'd say the first three sections wouldn't be a heavy load for us for the next meeting.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then we'll go from there. I mean, I've been keeping track since the last time of a bunch of stuff that has changed, but it's mostly like lands that have, either been donated, were private, now are public, blah, blah, blah. And, the graphics that we had before, I thought were good. And I don't see that we really need to go through and recreate a lot of those. Let's just identify what the changes are and how we might need to, modify the graphics. I don't like with MRPC, I don't want to start from scratch.
And then have to fix it. 'Cause it's wrong.
I mean,
I
because
think MRPC would have been great if there was nobody here to do it in town.
well, true.
Okay,
But
or nobody wanted to spend the time, but it appears that most of us do care about this and we want to get
But-
this done.
Lorraine went to the extra mile to make a lot of the graphics, in color and photogrammetric and I think there's no reason to change all that.
Steve, would you like me to print out those first three sections and then you can handwrite in your changes and edits?
Are they the
Well-
same ones that are in the book?
Yep,
Why don't I just do the book and I can send over what I think needs to be changed?
Do you have it? Do you
Yeah.
have-
she has a hard copy.
Oh, you
yes.
have a hard copy. Okay. Okay, I didn't know you had a hard copy. And just
I-
bring them in the shop. We'll photocopy them and keep them on record.
Well,
Okay.
Steve and I are working on the same sections, I believe, aren't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So you and I can work that out, Stacey. Lorraine, we'll work that out.
all right.
Does everybody have the same Word document of the plan?
Come on, I thought that was quite humorous when you were reviewing I think three of you had three different documents. Bill had one, you had one, and that was quite entertaining, actually. You know-
Not to Marshall, it wasn't. I believe we do. Lorraine can
believe
send
we
us
do.
out the latest one again.
Just to be sure. I know it's the one that, on one of the very first title pages, it has an August date, because that was the very last thing you asked me to put in, Marshall, was that an August date. So if you have
Right.
one and one of the first few pages is not dated August 2017, whatever.
I just want to make sure that we're all reviewing the same chapters 1 through 3. And
Now I couldn't even figure out how to get to the Google Doc things. It would take me a while to figure out how to get back in there, but if you can refer back to earlier emails and get in there, I do believe that the one that is up on the Google Drive is the most recent. I don't use it that often, so I'm a little unfamiliar with it. I can do it, but
all right, I think we can assume that everybody in some way has sections or the entire plan in Word. And, given that we're all going to be responsible for each or for certain sections, we can review those as submitted to Lorraine, who then can disseminate them to everybody.
good. Is that okay with you, Anna? Anna?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm not even on mute. You guys are hearing all my background noise.
No, not really. You were very quiet.
Oh, good. Glad. Yes.
Okay, good. All right.
Just a heads up about, so I just looked into the Google folder. Lorraine
Yes.
had created a folder a few months ago and we have documents there.
Yeah.
And the one that Gary put up, it sounds like as a Word doc, it is a Google Doc. So if you click on it, like if you make changes on that, everyone else is going to see those changes. So those who can use it as a Google Doc, if you can access it, you don't have to worry about like emailing things back and forth. Anything you put in there is gonna, that changes is what we're all gonna see is if you go to that folder. If somebody can't get into into the folder or Google Docs, well, then maybe email it to them and then send them back. But
Okay,
May I suggest Lorraine send us another link to the Google Drive?
When she finds it, yes.
when she-
I can email it right now because I'm looking at
Thank
the
you.
drive.
Thank
Okay,
you.
great.
That's all. I set it up as instructed and then I forgot. Okay, so the next part of this was our discussion about the survey. You know, I did go speak to the Board of Selectmen and they told me to come back later. I took it to mean that they were going to say no, and I just didn't want to say no that week. I thought before I take up that challenge again, you know, I was asked by Bill to see if there were any other feasible alternatives. They really don't want to spend the $500
Of our money.
of our money, our frozen chili, ice frost-bitten money. I don't think at this point I would prevail in getting that amount of money. However, before I go back there, I just wanted to make sure. I want to know how important is it to all of us to have paper surveys? And before you answer, in the open space plan itself, you'll see there are two surveys, the very first survey, I believe, and the last survey. The first survey that was done before we became such a digital society was done by paper. There were approximately 330 respondents. The next one, I think, was done when Lori was here. It was electronic, and I think we got about 33 respondents. So I have no reason to believe that it'll be any different, but in terms of numbers, it seemed to work better when it was in paper. So how do you all feel about a digital survey versus a paper survey?
how was the digital survey implemented?
I think it was a Survey Monkey.
I think it was survey.
It was that the
Thank you, Chris.
AmeriCorps person that worked for North County,
Yeah, Charlotte, yeah.
Charlotte, yeah.
And,
She sent that out.
but sent it out how? I mean, was it,
Email blast, it had to be.
but to
Email blast.
whom was it sent?
Yeah, whose list did you, whose email list did you use?
It was probably put out on Facebook
We didn't have
and through
Facebook.
the town's website. No, back
Yeah.
when Charlotte, we had
I
Facebook.
think,
Come on.
so,
I
so
don't know.
just, so Lorraine, so a couple of points that I think that, you know, it's all about the email recipients. I mean, you know, we all, I don't know if any of you, probably all of us have some sort of background in doing those email newsletters and things. The click rates are, you know, if you're lucky, you get, you know, 30-40%.
Mhm.
Oh,
But
Very
That's
lucky.
industry standard is more like 10%.
Yeah.
Now, however, there are ways to engage people and get them to click through and take the survey. I think, you know, the mail, you know, I think mail returns, I'm so surprised that you guys got 300 respondents from the mail-in. So there must have been, I don't know if you guys remember, but there must have been other ways that people were getting
I think they mailed it
the
out.
paper.
I
Were they
think
like in,
I think mailed them out to
It
everybody.
was, I
yeah, not
believe
only
it
that,
was,
but
yeah, go ahead.
no, but I'm sure it was like at the desk at the library and on the
It-
counter at the whatever
It
shop.
was at the library at some point. I
Yeah.
don't remember which one, but I remember filling one out long ago at the library, and I think that.
Yeah,
that jacked
so
up
it's like more point, people to people kind of thing.
Okay.
So I think the trick is not, it's really about interfacing with people and really, getting them to understand, like, here's the thing. And then, because you get it in the mail, you put it aside, you forget about it, or you get one email and you're like, what the heck is this? I don't know. And then you forget about it. So it's more about touch points and like getting it in front of people multiple times and trying to, I think we probably could do I don't know, like a small postcard to everybody in town just to let them know. Is that the cost estimate that you're talking about, or are you
The
talking about mailing the full, like 8.5 by 11, 3-page, whatever?
The cost that I had presented to them was the every door direct mail.
Yep.
Postage. That's it, because I agreed
That's,
to print it for nothing. So there were no
Oh,
print.
wow.
costs.
Okay, so that was just the, for a first class stamp, but bulk rate.
Say that again, please.
Was that bulk? That's bulk rate.
It's
But
just no longer a bulk rate. It's called every door direct mail. It goes to every mailbox for 18, I think it's about 19.5 cents now.
Okay,
And
okay,
it's
yeah.
not just a card, there are various particular sizes. It's not.
Yeah.
Dimensions are unique. You have to design a unique size and shape card. For what reason, I don't know. Just
Yeah, probably their automatic processing. So
no, because you redo all the processing. They don't do it. You get the break because we do all the sorting, and we batch it up and make all of the post office has to do is take it and put it in the mail carrier's truck.
Right.
That's what. So.
Okay, so thanks for the background. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Asking all the questions. So I guess, if there was, if there's, I think the outreach component, you're going to be more successful with a multi-prong approach. I think it's, I think if we go to the selectmen, we say, this is money that we want for this is, how we're doing it. And then give them those numbers and say, this participation rate dropped, 300% or whatever it is, when we stopped mailing things, and it's just to pay for the postage, let's go to them and make that case, because
I hadn't realized that at the time. It was after that meeting that I looked through the plan again, and I looked at those numbers, and I thought, well, there's a case for the argument. So whether they're not, they'll buy it or not, I don't know.
Right.
Today, go ahead.
No, I think we should have the survey as an electronic survey primarily. The goal would be to direct people to the Survey Monkey, because then you don't have the problem of data entry. It collects all of that for you right away, and then you're not. Do we all remember the days when you're get all the 300 paper surveys and you're hand entering all of that into a spreadsheet? Nobody wants to do that. And there's no need, because we could direct them to the online survey. Obviously, if they don't want to participate that way, they can fill out a paper survey and send it to us, and we'll hand enter those ones. But
But that would be my kind of, the way that I would handle it is have this primarily point people to the online thing, have a card that mails, you know, out to everybody in the town, but also email everybody and continue to email people like weekly until we get, you know, a certain goal number of participants. And maybe it's 300 or, you know, 10% of the town at least. I don't know.
I just had a, I think this was Chris's, I keep wanting to call him Megan because it says Megan on the screen. But Google Forms, we just
Yes.
used Google Forms for the roadside cleanup. And it
Yep.
worked beautifully because everything
Great.
just went into a spreadsheet.
Yeah,
Every time, and it automatically updated every time
perfect. Yeah.
someone entered their information. So
And I believe that's free. And I think that
And it's free.
SurveyMonkey, after a certain number of questions or a certain number of respondents, they start charging you. So
no, I don't know if there's a limitation in the Google Forms. I didn't see that anywhere, but it was very easy to use. My only concern with these methods is it's great for myself, but if we do go this route, we have to acknowledge that we are intentionally leaving a certain amount of the population out of this process because they're not going to do, it doesn't matter if you send them a card and tell them they cannot do it. They just, so we are intentionally discounting a certain segment of town. How important is it to us?
Well, I
to
think
do-
Anna was saying that that segment that won't do it online, you have a way they can do it on paper. Maybe if the library's open, you know, it's
Yeah.
just tell them on the card,
But it's
it's
not
available at the library
And
or
it's not open anymore. We really
So
don't
is
have
there-
a library.
or town hall. Can they go into town
It's
hall?
not-
or
you can't go into
the
town hall.
Council on Aging or.
What is everybody
you know,
afraid of? Why aren't these places open? I'm teaching students 4 days a
I
week.
know.
The schools are open. I mean, this stuff should be open by now. Just wear a mask and do your job. I'm sorry.
Council, I know. Council on Aging doesn't have
We
that many
digress.
people use it.
We guys digress. So let's think creatively about how to get paper ballots to the people or paper surveys to the people who we think will need it. And certainly we can, you know, if we want to send the whole survey instead of a postcard, you know, and it fits the compliance. I don't know if it's a letter, you know, if you can send a letter with the direct mail,
You
every
can
door and mail.
You can send an envelope, you can send a 6 1/4 by 9-inch envelope and put up to 3 ounces in it.
Oh, well, that's great.
But you still have to pay for the envelopes. And,
Right,
you know, and that's not cheap.
right. Okay, so, but we could, all I'm saying, Lorraine, is that I think we can be creative about getting paper surveys to people who don't want to or can't, or, you know, just for whatever reason aren't digitally connected. And I think you're right that we want to try to reach as many people as possible. I think what Marshall was trying to get at originally was that it has everything to do with the effort put forth and the lists that you're using to email. And you know, the more effort you put into trying to reach people, the more return you're going to get. It's not like a one and done, oh, we mailed it out, you know, and 33 people responded. And I don't know, you know, I wasn't around during that process. I don't know how robust the effort was, but with 33 respondents, it's gotta be not, it wasn't a concerted effort.
Yeah,
Really,
in the water.
really breaking up. How do you get email addresses for if people have access to email, they can, it's the people who don't have access to email, they're the same people.
I mean, I think each of us could get 33 of our people.
You know, excuse me, but all of this seems nonsensical to me.
Oh, sorry.
No, I just, wh- what is the best way to get the maximum response? Is it to send out via your mails for $500 a hand filled in or a survey, or a notice that says, please access this to complete the survey? I mean, to me, as Anna's saying, if you send out a notice to via whatever mail, and it costs you $500 and says, to everybody that received this, please log in and fill out this survey online, so that you don't have to go through the hand tabulation. Whether it's SurveyMonkey or whatever you use, but you've sent it out to everybody that you can. And then, whatever the population responds, they respond. And if it costs $500 to send out that notice that said, here's the link, then, it's $500. And if the Board of Selectmen is reluctant to, spend that money, make my day. They'll hear it from me.
I think they meet, what, next week?
I mean, all I'm saying is it's just stupid.
And I try to tell them, it's like, it's once every 4 years, 5 years?
7 years.
Seven years?
I'm just saying, if you want the benefits of an approved open space and recreation plan, which means that you can apply for grants worth way more than $500, then you're going to have to spend some to get some. I mean, give me a break, and let them say, screw it, I'm not going to do it. Then it's their, what fault. I'm tired of, this nonsensical approach to minutia dollars when there's a lot bigger, benefits to be had by spending minor dollars. And if they want to, deny it, then okay, fine, we're done here.
If they deny it, should we,
Tell them to go make their own open space
should
plan.
we
Yeah,
not,
there you go. It's like, okay, we're done. You do it.
you do the plan or you do the
the
survey, or
plan.
we just
You
don't
do
a
everything,
survey?
and say, screw it. We're trying to follow what needs to be done in compliance with state law in order to get a plan approved by the state. And, if you want to spend the money to get it done, and we end up with, three responses, then,
That's what we get.
we're done. You do it.
I'm good with that ultimatum.
Yeah, I just, enough already.
Is it just the cranky old men there, Marshall?
It is. It's like, okay, I'm done with my career. I'm retired. I've been called
I quit.
a lot of things in my day, and one more is not going to hurt. So, no, I mean, no, I don't. I kind of mean it, but I don't really. But I mean, it's just that I think it's it's short-sighted, and I think really that the select board realized that okay, they're trying to be financially
I get that.
whatever, but come on, $500. Tell me, do I have to stand on a street corner and take up a collection? Come on.
How much money is Parks and Rec going to spend this year? They're going to spend tens of thousands.
Their budget got upped by $5,000 this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Come
just,
on,
it's just nonsensical. So,
$5,000.
So basically what I wanted to get from this conversation is you want me to go back and fight for it.
no, I just want to,
Advocate strongly.
all I
for it.
want to know is that you present to them, this is our approach. We are sending out via whatever you call it, you revise the name of it, the mail. We're sending out, we're not sending out a hand ballot, we're sending out a form that, or a notice that advises the populace to access a website that they can go to fill in the survey that will satisfy the needs of the approving authority, the state. And this is the best way that we can do it to get, the biggest bang. Otherwise, based on our experience,
Yeah.
the response is like, it doesn't mean anything. So this is what we propose to do. And it costs this much money.
I'd like to make one addendum to that. I suggest that we, instead of just a card, because it might cost us a couple more cents a piece for a couple of sheets. We can take a couple pieces of paper, fold them together, tab them, give them to them, and they can have both that notice, and we'll encourage them to use online because it's easier for us to tabulate. But we can also include in small letters, small text, the survey. And if they're not able to do the survey, because I know a few people that would reply to the survey if they got it in the mail, but they don't do internet.
Yeah.
Okay, so
How
I would
many
just as soon
pages?
give them the option of filling it in. And I believe that probably 90% of those who actually take the survey will do it online because they don't have to spend the stamp to send it back to us. And it's just easier. They can do it, whenever they feel like it.
How many pages is the survey?
A couple sheets of paper.
So that's what I was wondering. Well, two things. One is could we maybe devote next meeting to editing the survey? Maybe we can keep it down to just 2 sides of a page. With that, we probably could eliminate some questions and really get to what do we really want to know. Because if it's only one piece of paper, more likely people will fill it out. If it's more than 2 pages, a lot of people are going to be like, this is too much.
Yeah.
But the other, could they drop it off at town hall if they don't want to use a stamp? Drop it in the box. Could town hall agree to take it? And secondly, if we put a link on the card saying go to this link, could we also put that link on the town's website so that if they don't want to try to type in a long web address, you say go to the town's website, click,
Yeah.
So,
They should be willing to do that for us.
but could we? I noticed the survey's not in the that Google folder. So if we could get the latest copy of the survey up there, we could start looking at questions. Maybe if it's short, we probably get better responses. Long surveys nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, it's long because of the way that they laid it out. I think it could be condensed more.
Okay.
All I'm saying is that when you go to the select board, it's not, maybe we'll do this or maybe we'll do that.
This is what we're doing.
This is what we're going to do. We're going to include a link to a survey, computer survey, and we're going to include a hard copy of the survey to be deposited at town hall. In other words, whatever you're asking them the money for has to be exactly what it is you're going to do.
They have to cut the check.
Understood. But if they don't, in other words, they need to understand that this is exactly what it is we're going to do. Not maybe this, not maybe that. This is exactly what we're going to do, and it's going to cost us much. And if we implement this, we're going to get the data we want. And
need.
And if they decide, say, have a nice day, then,
More free time for us?
well,
Be threatening anyway.
I will be the first to say, I'm not gonna say right now. But I will be, I
Make
will,
your thoughts.
you know, yeah, to express my opinion, let's put it that way. I mean, come on. If it's $500, you're comfortable with that number. Then there's no excuse for not finding the money.
Okay. Will do. So next time, next meeting, we'll go through the survey and pare it down.
So where does the survey exist right now that we can look at?
It's in the open space plan. It's section 8.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Okay, we almost had it on the computer, but I think our computer died with the survey being, all the text being put onto the computer.
I have a young woman who comes in, an Oakmont student, and I had her type it all out because it was just graphic. It was an image of the original survey. And then the computer died.
May 3rd.
So, but I get her to type it out again. Next Monday, she comes in on Mondays, so I'll wait for that to happen and then I'll send you what she typed. It took her an hour or so to type it out. She put it all in Word.
Okay, all right. Well, let us all know
Okay.
the results, and I'm
Okay.
ready to.
I'll
So
do
you're
my
gonna be
best.
at the select board meeting on the 3rd?
No,
No.
He fights enough battles.
we shouldn't have to be. It should be
I'll
pro
just say,
forma.
we talked about it again. We reviewed it. We went through the whole process of why we needed this to be this way, and we are standing strong and affirming that this is the only thing that will work for us.
Yeah, excuse me, if you've got a better idea, then feel free to,
And don't make me try it. You do it.
I just, enough of this crap.
We got enough. When we did what I did for the cleanup was I did a Google form. And there were 75 respondents, but they responded for parties. So it really represented 150 people that took part in that event. But I want to say that there were a good 25 people. We had to do it for them. They couldn't
Mhm.
find it, click the link, they didn't understand where to go.
Mhm.
They just ended up emailing me the information in an email and I put it in myself. So that was, like 25, 30% of the people couldn't navigate. It was very simple to get to the Google form. So, and it was, of course, the people that did succeed were younger people.
All right, Lorraine, what is the mailing called? It's no longer bulk. What's it called?
Oh, it's called Every Door Direct Mail. Means that every door on a particular route, one or all, gets the same thing for 19
Okay.
cents.
Okay.
EDDM.
Okay,
Every Door Direct
got
Mail.
it. Okay,
Okay. Very good. 7 o'clock already. Let's see, I'm going to skip a couple of things. Janet's not here, so we had talked about a couple of different maps. Anna was talking about, I think, a climate map, and Janet was probably interested in doing an Indian historic site map. I'll put that off for another point down the line. Forestry Change. I think that was Chris's idea.
That's something I could do in June. I was thinking of just going back through all the forest cutting plans if I can dig them out somehow.
Easier than
Just-
that, I did find, I came across a Google Earth project where they have mapped all of the forestry changes globally, and you can see it, they progress through the last 20 years. And from from cutting to cutting to cutting. And I zeroed in on Ashburnham and I could see all that had been cut. And I couldn't find it tonight to show it to you, but I found similar things. Let me just see if I can quickly pull that up. I will find the other link. It's interactive. But let me see, hold on if I can, oh, here it is. I'm going to share my screen and I'll show you. There are other people doing similar projects. Let me go to show screen, share screen. Here we go. Share this. So this is one of the mapping projects showing the forestry change loss and gain over the last 19 years. And I just found it, so I'm not exactly sure how to utilize all of its features. But what I did see is interesting is if you look on, can everyone see this?
Yeah.
If you could see on the right-hand side, forest loss year by year, the yellow was the forestry losses in 2000. And then the dark oranges are the forestry losses in 2019. And what I thought was interesting was there wasn't a lot of forestry going on in 2000, but we have all noticed the forestry activity in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And as I scanned across, so this is so it goes from Pearl Hill State Park. So this is us here. I see a lot more red in Ashburnham than I see over here to the east. And then I pan to the west and I see more than in the east, but a lot less. It seems as if Ashburnham has really been hit hard for some reason. I think it would be interesting to find out why so much forestry has occurred in our town especially in the last couple of years.
Isn't part of that because the Harshons just did a whole bunch of their properties?
Could be.
Beals Trust also, or Whit Beals.
Beals did,
Yeah, see, south of 12 there. There's
yeah.
a big chunk. Up around Bush Hill got hit hard. Yep.
And then Andy did a big, huge chunk.
Yep. The whole Sportsman's Club, that's
Yeah,
all red.
Sportsman's Club gone.
So did they do that because of prices? Is this because, the board, the pellets or however they market the wood product? Was it because prices for wood were high?
I know Sportsman's Club needed money, so that's where they went to get their money.
It was the same economics pressures or opportunities over here than it was for us over in Ashburnham.
We have more forests, maybe. I don't know.
Right. I mean, Lorraine, do you have a link to this?
I will. I'll send this all to you.
Okay, that would be helpful.
Right. And then, like I said, there was another one where it showed you a time lapse over the last 10 years, where you could see the areas opening up as they were cut. And I'll find that one too and send it to you.
Okay.
That's a great find. That's exactly what I was thinking of doing, is just a color coded,
Right.
these are plots harvested the last 5 years, but they.
We already got it.
As long as we can kind of as long as it's segregated out, like when they say 2019, I assume they don't mean in that 1 year, but like.
Yeah, I
maybe
believe
the
they do.
Maybe the last 10 years.
Nope.
I'm wondering if it's 10-year segments, 2000 to
I don't know.
then 2010, and then the last 9 years from there in red. I'd have to look at their
Yeah.
website, but that's perfect.
like I
I think it's
I
done.
just found this an hour ago, so I haven't fully.
Yeah.
explored it.
That's great. I think we're, that's actually more detailed than, a lot of these are probably not in forest cutting plans anyways, so this is better than what we could have done.
Well, actually, most of these are on forest cutting plans.
Most, but I'm looking
That I
at
see
some
in
little,
town.
I'm looking at some tiny little blips of red here and there that are probably not in a forest cutting plan.
You're
So
right.
this is better.
You can cross-reference it with your actual plans and see which are represented on here as a forest cutting plan and which are, who knows what, just.
Right up there's Bush Hill.
Hey,
Yes.
sorry, I'll come on the screen. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Sorry.
Hey, it's Anna.
I've been. Hi, everybody.
She lives.
So remind me, I know, I'm actually listening along. I was driving
Right.
and participating, and that's why you lost me.
That's
And then I
dangerous.
got home, and so I'm starting dinner, but I'm also participating. Will you remind me what's this is we're tracking this because we want to do, what's the goal? I'm sorry.
To put this in the open
remind me
space.
what-
recreation, To put this in the open space, a map, as one of our
To-
new maps. Put this in,
Of the
Oh, okay.
forestry that's
Got it.
happened in town.
I got it.
document forestry.
Got it. Okay. Of the private forestry that's happening in town.
Private and public, it shows both, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
DCR is out there cutting
Okay.
on their properties too, so.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So I'll make sure everybody gets that link. And I think I have the link for the interactive one at home on my other computer. I think I have it bookmarked. So I'll look for it there.
I think you're still sharing.
Yeah, I am. Okay, is that, actually, why don't I just send this? I think I'm gonna do this right now before I forget.
In your chat window.
In my chat window, I'll send it to you. Where is it?
Get out, stop sharing, you'll find things easier.
There we go. All right, chat. More. Chat, there it is. And chat to everyone. There we go. Thank you for your assistance. Okay. So I just sent the link in the chat window for this particular site for global forest change. Good. Okay. Well, we talked about the role of MRPC in the updating of our plan. We don't have to do that. I didn't know if Marshall wanted to do an MVP update or save it for a later date. I'm sorry I missed the last meeting.
Well, it was just, they just went
Was
over.
the
It
hearing.
wasn't a
It
meeting.
was the hearing thing. I was unable to do that. Marshall, do you want to put off MVP until the next meeting?
Until he comes
Oh,
back.
He's not here. Okay, well then we'll hold it. We'll go back to it then. In May, the town is gonna have an auction sale.
I thought they were gonna share that.
I've asked them to share the list with us of properties. I didn't get a real
You didn't get.
Good. Indication as to when. I would think that they know by now because it's almost May. And the town administrator said that he would give me the list as soon as it was available. I haven't gotten a list. I told him we wanted to be able to review it. I haven't heard anything.
Be a good subject for next week's select board meeting. Put him on the spot in front of the select board.
Well, but I'll contact him again and see if I can, see if that list has been compiled. He referenced it as being, he said, I'm paraphrasing now, I'm trying to remember, he said he'll make it available to the public when it is complete. And I said, are we the public? You know, so I would think that we're not really the public. And if we would see it before there's a list of,
You want a sneak peek? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, and we would, I
Or we
think we
could
should
track
review
this.
it to see if there's anything that we might find an agency or an entity capable or willing of purchasing it.
Or if they've got the Knockeg Hospital on there by chance. I'm afraid he's gonna try to spin that off, and that should not be sold.
So, but so far, I haven't gotten any information. I will continue to pursue it.
So what's the process for the town auctioning off land? Is there there must be a, sorry, hang on. That's my oven.
Is it done yet?
Yeah,
What's for
it's
dinner,
up to
Mom?
temp, so now I can put the fish fillets in there.
You should-
The-
Hey.
Two beautiful.
So will we, there must be some sort of public, timeline, so do you happen to know that, but you don't? Yeah, no, okay.
As
All right.
much trouble as we had with the last town administrator, she was more forthcoming.
Yeah,
with what they were looking at to sell.
yeah.
This one is holding it very close to the vest.
Or he doesn't have it. I don't know, but
I don't believe he
I'll just
doesn't. have it.
ask again.
I don't believe it.
All right, I had a question about River Street for Marshall, so when he gets back, I'll ask him that. The Keep Ashburnham Beautiful event was a huge success. We're gonna try, like I said, about 150 people participated. Everyone was, except for one person, they were mortified and exhilarated at the same time. Mortified at the amount of trash that was out there and the
Yes.
types of trash, and really excited about doing it. So we're gonna do that a couple times a year at least. And we still have room in the dumpster because they compacted it. We're gonna keep this for 10 days and see if we can maybe go out. Areas like Route 12 and 119, particularly Route 12, have so much stuff. There's one weekend, one day is not enough. We could be out there for a week. All 150 of us could be out there for a week.
Wow.
And it'd still be trash there, so.
I think we could, yeah.
So we're gonna try to maybe have a little mini follow-up. People, really, it was kind of hard to shut some of them down. We didn't hand out enough bags. If we had had more bags, we would have had more, if we'd given them more bags, we would have had more trash. But
Who's bearing the cost of the dumpsters at the DPW? Is that the town or?
the town did nothing in terms of financial support, other than they paid someone to be at the dumpster for 4 hours.
So who's gonna pay then to?
The Keep Ashburnham Beautiful is a chapter of Keep Massachusetts Beautiful.
Oh,
So that's what in the last month, we have formed a chapter, established a fiscal sponsorship agreement with Keep Massachusetts Beautiful. We got donors. We raised the funds. One of the dumpsters was donated by E.L. Harvey. The second one we had to rent. We bought the bags, we bought the shirts, we being KAB, Keep Ashburnham Beautiful. We have a bank account and a post office box, and we pulled that all together in a month. And we bought gloves and bags and all sorts of printing and signs. So it was, the money was all donated by our sponsors. It wasn't no tax, there were no tax dollars expended except for the DPW personnel person. So we would like to, I don't want to become a waste management business, but we want to help the town deal with trash and waste. And I know they don't have time to run around and pick all this stuff up. They don't have the money to do that. So that's one of the missions of Keep Ashburnham Beautiful, is to work with the town to address and maintain, because you just can't clean it up once and it stays clean. We're going to have to maintain it. So we'll do further fundraising. We may or may not become a 501c3 entity. We got.
Can you give us an idea of who the sponsors were?
Oh, absolutely. E.L. Harvey Hauling, the Ashburnham Conservation Trust, 2 private donors, All Town Convenience, Ashburnham Wine and Spirits,
And you.
and us, and Expressive Print and Promotion
Okay,
were the ones that funded this.
got it,
At Gary and Lorraine.
got it.
So, we do have a Facebook page. If you're interested, if you haven't seen the pictures. It was great to see kids out with their families picking up trash. They were very eager to do so. So now we have 150 email addresses or maybe not 150, but we have at least like 75, 100 email addresses and contacts. They all want to stay in the loop.
Most of them young folks too, which is unusual. At least as far as the land trusts and stuff go. We're all old folks there,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of young families.
Young families, yep. Okay, now that Marshall, you're back, can I ask you quickly about the rivers, about the NOI for River Street? Have you had a chance to review that?
I have, and I really think the best thing for us to do is try to meet down there.
Okay. Anytime.
And, you know, paper is one thing, but it's a lot better to just, you know,
Okay.
be there. And whether it's just you, me, whatever, Gary, just to,
You tell me when.
What about the committee that was formed? You know, there was a little group of us.
Well, there wasn't. I was emailing you and no one really responded. So I
I
stir
dropped
it
off the
again,
face of the planet. I was
Yeah.
on that.
stir it again.
stirred.
Stir the pot again.
Stir.
Um,
She missed that.
You know, I'm just thinking that maybe there's certain steps that we can take, you know, once we get the NOI finalized and all that,
Yeah,
in terms of, you know, maybe the first step is, you know, dealing with invasives and then going, you know, once that gets cleared out of the way, seeing what else we can do in terms of making pathways and removing other obstructions.
Isn't that going to require like additional NOIs that'll have to be paid for?
No. We're gonna wrap it all into one.
Okay, okay.
yeah, I'm just waiting on you, Marshall, to
No,
tell us what we can do.
you know, it's like people that come along that, you know, want to build a house within the buffer zone of a lake, and it's like, oh, don't you want to put a dock in too? Oh, yeah. Well, you know, maybe we should throw that into this NOI. That's the way I perceive this, is, you know, it's really an all-encompassing.
I did a presentation to the planning, to the Board of Selectmen that was as all-encompassing as I could make it.
Yep,
I'll send it to you again or print it out. But I
Yep.
did try to work in terracing in areas where we wanted, like behind the retaining wall.
right.
that- So we could plant that, make it safer. So I worked that all into my second presentation. I'd be
Yeah,
happy
I mean,
to.
a lot of it is I don't think very difficult or controversial. It's only when you get into the wetland areas, it's like, you know, it's not so much the riverfront areas, it's the wetland areas, and, you know, what you want to do and how you want to do it.
Yeah, I hadn't planned too much in that wet soggy area where it's seeping through the wall. I was primarily staying more towards the roads.
Did you go out and cut some?
I never made it out, no. I
You
did not.
didn't, okay.
I did not. I can, I have a little bit more time now, but
All right, well, I'm saying that, you know, that is inconsequential. So, you know, if you want to do it, just go ahead.
it would help. We could look
Yeah.
at it. If it,
Yeah.
we could-
Well, I've crawled through the same thing you did, so I know it's
Now
not
it's
easy.
alive again, so.
Yeah,
And full of
So-
dicks.
Okay, you tell me what works for you and
okay, I'll be in touch, and, you know, pretty soon, anytime we'll be good.
I'll let Cease know too. I think you were just sort of coming out of your surgery as this was changing, and I think that's maybe why some of it got by you, and Miss Fish Stick girl who's over there, she just got too busy, so she,
There she is.
I don't know if she wants to be included again.
So put the knife, step away from the
Put the
knife,
knife down. Put the
step away
knife
from the
down.
knife,
What are you saying?
okay?
I've been busy.
Um,
Okay,
Multitasking.
yeah, very. Okay,
okay, good. Did you want to talk about MVP?
well, we've had, and as you may have seen or heard about, the Park Corporation has submitted the draft report, and we had our first quote unquote listening session the other day, which was to hear about the results of the draft report and to receive comments. There will be one other listening session coming up once the hazard mitigation, which has to do with, flooding and so forth, component of the plan comes through. And once that is done, that listening session is done and comments provided, then PAR will create the final plan, which once submitted to the state will hopefully allow us to become a designated MVP community, which has to be done by June 30th, the end of this fiscal year. And after that, then we the town are able to respond to, requests for action grants and other things that would allow us to get money for, a variety of things. It doesn't have to be for, removal of the Whitney Pond Dam. It could be like for a townwide assessment of all our 23 dams, and what their status is and what their, effect on in the environment or people is. I mean, it could be anything. So anyway, that's on a pathway to completion. And if you didn't see the listening session, it's online. Go to the town website. Mary just indicated to me today that it's been posted. So, feel free.
Were you reasonably satisfied with it?
Yeah, I am. I mean, it's somewhat boilerplate, to use that awful phrase. But I think to a certain extent it does, address the town's concerns. And it's just a stepping stone to get us from here to there.
I'm gonna skip old business for now. And I wanted Janet here for part of it anyway. Is there anything that anyone else wants to bring up? What is it? Cheshire cat grin face from Anna.
Well, yeah, I don't think I can share anything at this point, but good things.
Good.
For conservation and recreation in town. So,
Well, that's a teaser.
I know, but I was just, I would love to talk. I think I'll talk about it offline for now.
Okay, you know where to find us.
Yeah.
Anything to do with our last conversation?
It does.
Okay,
does.
I'll keep my mouth shut.
You
but
didn't tell
Good.
me.
So,
I haven't told her either.
yeah, see, that's good. It's all good.
You can tell him secrets.
I just wanted to, here's everybody. Also say to Chris, I want to connect with you, and I keep forgetting to email you, so email me, Chris.
This is the Cliff Notes of conservation.
I know, I'm sorry, this is like
we get like a brief window to say hi. And and I know we're all very busy, but so I just wanted to use I wanted to commandeer the floor in order to do a shout out to Chris. Anyway. And I wanted to also say that I saw that Chris is leading a walk at the Dunwood, or did you already do it?
Did a walk,
You
yeah.
did- It was this last week. That's right. It was the same day as
Unfortunately, it was Saturday.
Is
That's
that
why.
where you were? I was wondering where you were.
Yeah, so that I prepped a little bit because that's kind of a really neat forest. I hadn't really
It's
studied
wonderful.
it before.
Yeah.
It's kind of unique in there. There's red pine and pitch pine that
Yeah.
allegedly are native there. They were not planted, so according to the foresters who studied these things.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were doing that.
There's red pine out on Bush Hill too.
And you think it's native there too?
We found it during the bio blitz that we did there back in 2004, I think.
What was that other thing? Black spruce? And black spruce.
Because I know there's a lot of red pine planted, right? And there's a lot on the roads, but to find these big ones out in the middle of this this never farmed piece of woods. It was a wood lot. It was never farmed in Paul Dunn Reserve, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, that was booked like months ago with Mount Grace. I think back in the fall they had that planned. So
I was sorry to miss it, but I
You
had
were doing-
family in town and it was really crazy here.
oh, we
There
had
were
a big
so-
crowd.
Your
Seven
opportunity's
people showed
not lost because we're still thinking about doing another one very soon, just a very small informal one.
Yeah.
Concentrate on the spots that got missed or were so
Yes.
dirty, there was no time. to
Yeah, I want to.
Yeah.
pick up some
Count
more.
me in. I'll
Okay.
definitely.
And you'll get a
that-
t-shirt too.
I've been saving like dog food bags and things to pick up trash in because I hate throwing them away.
And
I've got
so
my
we're gonna have
bags
the-
ready.
We're gonna have the dumpster for, 10 days from Saturday and then it
Okay.
goes. So we're gonna try to squeeze it in within that period of
Excellent.
time.
All right. Well, okay. So I will relinquish my time.
The floor back to you. Thank you.
There's only one thing left.
Yes, and does anyone have anything else? Cease, are you good? Marshall?
When do you think we'll meet next?
Well, the fourth Tuesday will be it's February, March, April, May, the
25th.
25th.
Okay,
And if I get the date right, there won't be the confusion that there was last month.
got it.
All right?
Yeah, good.
6 to 8. Okay, well, are we ready to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Yes, Anna.
Second.
Yes. Yeah.
C seconded.
All in favor? Aye.
Gary Allen.
Aye, aye.
We stand adjourned. It was good to see everybody. Hope to see you again
Likewise.
soon.
Yeah.
Thank you for your
Stay
time.
healthy.
You too. Good night.
Bye.
Hey,
And-
folks. Ah,
I always forget to do this. Recording,
there we go.
stop recording. There we go.